Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. It's George Masri. I'm the host of the Well Off Podcast, and today I interviewed Mike Ferreira. Mike is a full-time truck driver, works actually for the beer store, and we talk about his journey, how he went from being a truck driver to investing in Hamilton. He recently completed duplex conversion on the Hamilton Mountain, bought a property for, I believe he said $575, and had it refinanced for $850,000 by putting in a basement apartment. So if you guys are interested in learning more about duplex conversions and how you can boost the value of a property that much, I think this is going to be an awesome number for you. We also talked about separating water meters, how you're able to do that so that you can offload the cost to your tenants, and then creating multiple streams of income. So obviously he's a full-time truck driver, so he had to figure out a way to set some time aside to do his duplex conversion as flips. We touched on that a little bit. So I know you guys are going to enjoy this. And if you do, I ask you to leave us a review on the Apple Podcast platform, and then also subscribe and make sure to like and comment on the videos on YouTube. I'd love to hear your opinions and would love to hear if there's anyone specifically you would want me to interview. Thank you so much for all your support. I am grateful for you guys tuning in all the time, and I'm happy and would love to connect with you. So feel free to reach out to me by going to welloff.ca. Thank you. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Well Off Podcast, where the goal is to motivate, inspire, and share success principles. I'm here with Mike Ferreira. This is the first time I actually get to meet you. Thank you for coming out all the way from Cambridge, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I
live in Cambridge.
Awesome. So I know you do a lot of flips because you contacted me a couple times about opportunities, but I like to start off by kind of talking about your childhood. Tell me about where you grew up and one or two things you remember.
All right. Well, I'll start by saying thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. We've had some discussions over social media, so it feels like I know you, but this is my first time meeting you, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. You mentioned a lot of flips. I've only done one, but my goal is to continue on, doing that. But for as for my childhood, born and raised in Toronto. My parents immigrated to Canada from Portugal. Lived in Etobicoke most of my whole life. Got married. Bought my first house in Brampton, and then moved out to Cambridge eventually. And then the real estate investing journey began there.
Okay, so am I wrong then? You're not really focused. You're not like. You haven't been flipping for a long time. Did you have a different investment strategy?
Yeah. So I started off with buy and holds, single family buy and holds, and then shifted over to the duplex conversions. So maybe that's where you're probably thinking of, the content of renovations and stuff. That's more along the lines of the duplex conversions, but it is kind of like a flip to yourself kind of thing, right? So
maybe just because we've only spoken on social media, so like our history wasn't that deep, but
right.
Okay, so you did a lot of duplex conversions. Tell me a little bit about your journey. Like you said, you were in Brampton, then you moved to Cambridge. How did your investing start? Were you working full time? What was your life like?
Yeah, I'm still working full time. It kind of started off after buying my first home, living in it for a few years, and then realizing the appreciation of it, and I kind of got a sense that there's something there that I was really able to understand real estate and how it worked, and I had kind of a passion and a drive for it. So things were getting a little pricey in Brampton. We made our shift to Cambridge. We moved, and things were all of a sudden more affordable there. And I'm talking, this is about 2015, 2016. So I dove in with a couple of friends, and we bought a townhouse. That was our my first investment purchase was a single family townhouse in Cambridge, which we still have till this day. And it kind of just snowballed from there, and just going online, social media, connecting with people, and educating myself as much as I could. I guess it just snowballed from there.
Cool. Where are you doing your duplex conversions, or where were you doing them?
So the duplex conversions they're all in Hamilton. So I have 3 of them there. 2 are with JV partners. We're just finishing one up right now, and then my single families are in Cambridge and Kitchener. Okay,
so tell me a little bit. Are you still doing duplex conversions in Hamilton? Do the numbers still work at this point?
They do, yeah. And surprisingly enough, they do. The appraisals are coming in high enough. by all means, like the purchase price, acquisition cost is pretty high, but definitely resale values there to do the conversion still. But then again, like I said, it's just a higher price tag to get in.
Can you tell us a little bit about your most recent project? Like, what did you have to buy it for? How much did you have to put into it?
So the recent one that we actually just finished a refinance in October, we purchased it for $575.
When was that, by the way?
Purchased November 2020.
November 2020, $575. Okay.
$575. It's like about almost 1,100 square foot bungalow, and the upstairs was in good shape. We didn't do much, just some pot lights, small little cosmetic stuff, and then full gut in the basement. So the renos, carrying costs, and all that were probably up to $280. That's with down payment as well, right?
Okay,
so
with your down payment.
Yeah, with all our initial investment was $280, and we got it appraised at $850.
Okay, so your down payment was probably down payment closing costs were somewhere in the range of 120.
Yeah, 125. Yeah,
125,
yeah.
And then you said 280 total, so that's 160 in renovations.
That's right. Yeah,
approximately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's to do the basement, legal, everything.
Yeah, that one I've mentioned on previous podcasts that was my basement from hell, because we ended up doing some major waterproofing, interior waterproofing, and also re-poured the concrete slab because we had some heaving issues.
So concrete, like the foundation, or
the concrete slab, like the floor.
Oh, the floor. Okay.
Yeah, the floor had high heaved areas, so we ended up breaking it all up and re-pouring, getting a nice flat floor.
How much did that?
So that set us back. I think it was about $23,000 to $25,000. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think typically right now to do a full basement, to do like a legal suite would probably be somewhere typically between 120 to 140. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, if you're just keeping with the basement, that sounds about right. Things have gotten. Construction costs and material costs have gone up in the last year, right? So, probably around the 150 range. And it also depends on what kind of finishes you're looking at and how nice you want to make it.
Okay. All right. So you bought for $575. You're in it for $280 between down payment and renovations. And then what'd you say was appraised at?
$850.
$850. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were able to pull out most of the money that you invested.
Yeah, this is with the JV partner, so they have just over $70,000 left in the deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really good. Like it's
fantastic.
Good result. What are the rents that you're getting there?
So there we're getting $3,950 total, $1,850 for the basement, $2,100 for upstairs.
So crazy.
And it's gone up. So
$1,850 for the basement. That's ridiculous. I worked at or with Rockstar. I don't know if you ever knew that.
My agent is from Rockstar. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I remember when we would like have our team meetings, we would always talk about the rents, and the rents back then. This was not even that long ago. It was like, I don't know, like $1,200-$1,300 you were getting in the basement. You were getting $1,850, which is so crazy. Right. I don't know how somebody's paying $1,850 for a basement, but that's just what it is. Like that's rent right now.
But it has to be. I mean, at $1,850, you got to have like the space, the 2-bedroom, nicer finishes.
Is that all inclusive or plus?
No, that's plus utilities. Yeah, hydro and water.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, now the water bill, is it in your name or like in your corporation, whatever, or are you guys somehow passing it on to the tenant? Because in Hamilton, I don't think you can pass it on to
the bill itself can't be in the tenant's name.
Yeah.
Has to be in the homeowner's name. Previously on a duplex, what I've done is I just have it mailed to the property and the tenants just go online and pay, because I split the water there at both these properties that I'm talking about right now. I split the water.
So you put 2 water meters.
2 water meters, yeah. And this one, I'm going to do things a little different. I'm just going to have the bill sent to me, just take a screenshot, send it to the tenant, and they pay.
Cool. What was that process like to separate the water meters?
It's not fun.
Yeah.
We had delay issues. So on my first duplex that I finished last year, we had some delay issues from the city, and even like turning the water on. The house was vacant. They weren't really quick on their feet to get things done. COVID was going on, stuff like that. So, but even afterwards, I had a tenant changeover about 6 months in, and I realized that he wasn't paying his water bill because he wasn't getting a bill. And the upstairs tenant was paying for all the water consumption in the house when we had 2 meters. So talking to Electra, who bills the water, they had no recollection of that water meter whatsoever.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I paid for it. They installed it, the whole 9 yards, and it's actually happening again.
Oh, okay.
So the process is far from seamless. And going forward in Hamilton, I'm probably looking at not doing it again.
Not separating the meters.
No.
Well, one thing that I've done or I've looked at using Splitwise. I don't know if you've heard of Splitwise.
No.
It's basically an app which allows you. It's meant to be used like, I think if you're planning something with friends, you're going to a cottage and everybody's splitting the cost. You punch in the person's email and you say this is the total amount. This is your share. So I've looked at using that for the water bill as well, and I think it would be pretty easy because then it just requests to have the money sent by the tenant. I think they can pay through PayPal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it would kind of like automates things because you just punch in the total amount and you say what each person's share is and have them pay that way. But I know in your case, it's already split. So it might be something to look at. I don't know. I just find it easier to like just send the bill and then tell them how much they owe. I also sometimes will request an e-transfer from the tenant. So if you like open up the bank account, you go into your e-transfers, you can actually request a payment and punch in their email.
Oh, right.
And have them pay you that way.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hate doing it because it's so time consuming. I should probably have somebody do it for me, but I figure it's like a couple minutes, just do it and get it done.
Yeah. My whole thing with separating the utilities is like just less things that I got to worry about. Right.
For sure.
So, if we can get the tenants to pay their own, having the separate bills, I don't want people saying, well, I was gone for 3 weeks and that guy washes his car every day. I don't want to deal with that. And I want to also be fair. Like I want it to be fair for my tenants.
Yeah.
So, but it's it's literally been almost, I'd say about 10 months dealing with water billing and water meter issues with Hamilton.
Yeah.
So not the city of Hamilton itself, but Electra.
Right.
So
I get that.
So I guess that kind of trumps the headache of, emailing every month and saying this is your portion, right?
Well, at this point, but then once you have it all set up, it should be a little bit easier for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
100%. If you can like offload as many tasks as possible, make your life easy as a landlord, it's super helpful.
Right. And I find that when you tell the tenants, when I'm showing the properties to potential tenants and I say, all the utilities are separate, they're like, oh wow, that's cool, right?
I don't have to worry about this person overheating their unit or whatever and I have to share with them.
Exactly. And I think that's a big bonus and a big plus when you're showing your properties.
Sure.
Just something to stand out from your regular duplex, I guess.
Yeah. If anyone's listening to this and you know of a good way to offload your water bill in Hamilton to your tenants, please let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
We would truly benefit from that.
Yeah, and I find like sometimes plumbers don't know how to do it properly either, because the city needs like a spacer installed and you got to shoot them a picture and make sure that it's proper before they come and install the meter. So, you can run into that situation too, right?
Yeah. I'm sure not every plumber will know exactly what they should do to get it set up properly.
Right. And some contractors could go as far as, putting 2 water bibs outside. So, if either tenant wants to wash their car or water a garden, they're using their water. They're not using, one spout that's for the upstairs or the downstairs.
Sure. Yeah. Tell me about your flip. You did one, you said that you had the one flip. How did that go?
That actually went really well. At the beginning, it was a bit scary. There was like right after we purchased it, we got it off MLS, and right after we purchased it, there was like this bad comp that came in, and it was just like sleepless nights after that. I partnered with someone to do it, to do that flip. But the market really helped us for sure. I'm not a genius by any means.
Yeah.
But we did well. Yeah. For the first one, I did more than I expected.
Tell me about that. When did you buy the property? And
So we purchased that at the end of 2020.
okay.
And we started work on it like beginning of January, like right after the holiday season.
Okay.
And when did we sell it? I think we ended up selling in May. It took us a little bit longer. We weren't able to tackle all the exterior stuff that we wanted at the end of 2020 because of the winter. So we had to tackle a lot of the stuff in the spring, right when we were finishing like the interior stuff. Whereas if you were doing it in the summer, you can have them both going, right?
Yeah.
So it took us a little bit longer. It sat on the market a little bit. We put it on the market, I think it was 2 days before Doug Ford announced the lockdown.
Oh, okay.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
Showings just dropped right away. And then we actually ended up relisting. And actually, we had an offer. We had a really great offer. We were really surprised. And the buyer backed out before dropping a deposit. So, yeah, that was a little up and down there. And then we sold it. We didn't get as much as the original offer, but very happy to offload it and make some money. Yeah.
Cool. What's next for you? What are you looking to do? Are you going to do some more duplex conversions, some more flips?
Yeah. So my focus right now is I like doing the whole JV thing, attracting JV partners, people that want to invest their capital into real estate. I really enjoy helping people do that. I have my own duplex that I'm thinking of doing a garden suite in. That's more of like a cash flow play for me. Definitely, I want to scale up the flipping. And hopefully kind of do my own thing and not go to the JOB.
What were you like? Are you still working full time at this point?
Yeah, I'm still working full time. I'm a truck driver. I have really great hours for the company that I work for, so it's allowed me to also do this on the side. But now my company has moved and they're pretty far, so I'd like to either start something else or move to a new company if I need to. But being a truck driver, I feel confident. Like if I have to leave my job and focus on real estate, if need be, I have something to fall back on, and the demand is there. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I think that's so important right now. Like just with the way the economy is, with the way things are, you got to have something to fall back on just in case.
Yeah, some type of skill. Yeah. Like if you have a skill, like and this is not to, talk bad about anybody, but if you're just like a factory worker that works on a factory line, you have no other skill and that company shuts down, well, that's tough, right? Yeah. Or if you're in that position and you want to scale into real estate and one day you need to like step back, it can be a bit tough. But if you have a skill, if you're a carpenter or any type of trade, having that to fall back on is like super, super important in my eyes.
Yeah, for sure. You got to have the knowledge of how to generate income.
Yeah.
And you can't just rely on one thing. Like I think it's too difficult to become wealthy and just have one specific skill, like you said, and not know how to generate income through A, B, and C.
Right.
Like it's super important. And people talk about that all the time, but I'm starting to realize how important it is to like not just be a real estate agent for me, but to be a real estate investor and know how to do stock options and know how to do all these different things.
Right.
Well, not like a million things, but 3 things, do them really well, and that way I know I can take care of my family.
Right. Yeah. Another thing that I've dove into lately is private lending. Mm-hmm. Just using some HELOC funds that are sitting doing nothing and make a little bit of money, and find other people that I've networked with that need some money, and kind of know that they're good for it and they're doing good things, and I get to visit the projects, and so that there's another income stream coming in. I totally agree with you. If you even if you have a really good paying job, I always advise like get into something else, whether it's one property or stock options or maybe a little bit of crypto or just something. It does make a difference.
Like I think people don't maybe some people don't realize how big of a difference one rental property could make in your life.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
One buy and hold property.
Yeah.
Just thinking about where I started, if I hadn't bought that one property, I have no idea where I'd be today. And it was like a cheap, crappy house that needed a ton of work that people passed up on, that I bought for $215,000 back in 2017. You know, and I still have that property today. It's worth probably $650 right now. But yeah, where would I be without that one? So anyone listening, I truly encourage you, just get started, whatever you can do, and it'll snowball from there and grow. Like you've seen it happen for yourself.
For sure, and it doesn't need to grow, right? Like if you're that type of person that doesn't want to have 10 properties, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, one is life changing. It's impactful. You know, after a couple of years of owning mine, my first property or investment property, it was just like. It was like a sense of relief. Like this can pay for my kids' university, like within a couple of years, you know, I mean, thanks to the Ontario real estate market, obviously, but definitely it's a game changer. Cause I was in a position where I was just working so much overtime and it was like, I'm not getting ahead. Yeah. Like I make a little bit of extra money and then you're like, oh, you know what? Let's go on a vacation. Yeah. Or you spend a little bit more, you splurge a little bit more. So to have an asset that constantly grows while you're sleeping, while you're doing nothing, I mean, not nothing, there's always a bit of work, but very little, it's so impactful. Yeah. Like it's so impactful. It just, all those worries of, you know, how am I going to be able to afford my kids' education if they want to go that route? I'm not saying, you know, whatever, just be financially free in a sense, right?
Yeah. So and with inflation the way it is right now, so let's say you've been setting aside money for your kids for the last 10 years and you're trying to save up for their education, but inflation's at 5% or 4% or whatever it's at, then you're really like, you're struggling, you're climbing uphill here trying to save for them. But you have that asset that's appreciating by 20-30% per year, and it's not to say it's always going to be that way, but you're getting way ahead of inflation and you're able to set aside some money, like you said, for your kids. Yeah,
there's no doubt that saving your job income it's not going to get you ahead. Yeah. It's not, because by the time you have that money saved up, it's not going to buy you what you wanted. Yeah. So I kind of try to preach that to people around me. Some people like kind of reach out and ask me more about it. Some people just goes right over their head, and it's unfortunate, and I don't blame them. You know, we're not taught this stuff in school, so I wish we were. I wish I was, because I would have started this earlier and probably would have been way better off. But you know, not to say the least, it's been great.
I was just going to ask you, because I'm sure some people are wondering, like somebody who's a truck driver, you're not necessarily around other real estate investors all the time, but you said that you've had success with JV partners. Where were you able to find your partners? Are they other truck drivers, or like how were you able to get people to invest with you?
So far it's been friends and family. That's kind of where it started. It just starts off with, you know, oh, I saw you on Instagram doing this. Well, you know, what is it that you're doing? You know, how's that going? You know, the talk of real estate is always, I find it's always around, because it's such a hot topic, and you know, people talk about how much money they made on their house. So, I just start talking, and people, you know, reach out afterwards and say, you know, is there something that we can do together? Yeah.
Okay. So social media has been a good way.
Social media has been good. The last year I've really documented and put out content around what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find that a chore? Like, is it tough for you to do that, or do you enjoy it?
It's tough for me as a person, only because like I'm kind of camera shy, so to speak. But the more I do it, the easier it gets. Yeah. It's just about feeling comfortable being videotaped. I hate watching my own videos, so I usually don't. I have a video guy that does all my editing. Oh, okay. So I not only because I don't like watching myself, just because I have no idea how to edit a video. So that helps a lot too. But even like when my wife's watching my videos on Instagram, like whenever a new video comes up, she's watching, I'm like, can you turn that off? Yeah. Like, I don't want to hear myself. So it's not hard. It's just something you got to get used to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not, I want to do it just to, you know, give back, because a lot of people have helped me along the way. The investor community has been fantastic, right? So if I have some knowledge about something, I want to put it out there. Yeah. You know?
Do you feel like there's a certain topic or something we haven't covered that you want to share?
Well, you touched on, the truck driver thing, and I thought you were going a different direction with it, but, it doesn't really matter where you are in life. You can make a move. I get a lot of people saying, like, I can't buy a house, it's too expensive. I'm like, well, have you thought of buying it with somebody else? Mm-hmm. Find a friend that's looking for a house too and move in and start your journey that way. Just to say that, everything's expensive and you can't do it. Yeah. I don't think that's a valid excuse. There's ways to do it. There's off-market property deals. Find somebody that's handy that's looking to buy a house and kind of buy a house that needs a little bit of fixing. Yeah. There's always ways, and I just find that people can be so set in what they want, like right off the bat. So just step back and sacrifice a little bit now to get ahead later, because after owning your own property for 5 years, it gets easier. Mm-hmm. Right. And it the time that you're losing now trying to save and try to find the right time, you're going to lose in the long run.
I agree with you. And this is a topic that, like, as a real estate agent and as an investor, I've had to come across a million times from people, like, should I save a little bit more? The prices might come down a little bit, whatever. And it's always the same story, and it's been the same story for the last 50 years. Buy now and hold on to that property. Do whatever you can get in the market, and you're going to benefit over time. If your goal is to get in now and then sell it after 3 months of holding it, okay, maybe that's a little bit different. But if you're holding on to that property for 5 years, buy it now. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Don't try to get in at the right time. Don't try to save any more money. If you can buy, go ahead. Just do it.
Right. And if it's tough to qualify for a mortgage, try to get other people on board, right? Yeah. Or try to find a co-signer of some sort. Yeah. Maybe you're going to have to move a little bit further away, because there are little smaller markets where you can still get things for around the 400,000. Yeah. It's not impossible. It's there. It's just, you're not going to get your garage. You're not going to get your 50 by 100 lot. You're not going to get a 3-bedroom. Just sacrifice a little bit now, because it will pay off in the future.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next section, which is the random 5.
Oh, yes, I know about this.
Yeah, okay. So first one is, where would be the ideal place to retire?
Oh, man. That's tough to say when you have kids, because you don't know where they're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Canada. Politically, right now it doesn't look fantastic, but I definitely love Canada. I was born here. This is my home. But I wouldn't, so to speak, retire in one spot, but to be financially free to just, travel the winters to warm places. Cool. If I can get out of here in the winter, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. What's your favorite dessert?
Oh, man. Maybe like cheesecake.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge cheesecake and ice cream.
Cheesecake and ice cream together.
Yeah, no, not together.
Dairy overload.
Yeah, which isn't great. But I think it would be just a plain ice cream, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Number 3. Who was your childhood idol, or your idol as a child, I should say?
Damn. I don't really idolize people. I mean,
you didn't have anyone you looked up to as a kid, or somebody you really wanted to meet, or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Maybe some music artists, like George St. Pierre was, he's just a phenomenal dude. Yeah. But that wasn't when I was really young, right? Yeah. So
probably a teen or
late teens, late teens, early 20s. Cool. But it wasn't just the fighting side of things. It was the person he was, and
Awesome.
Yeah.
Number 4, what's your favorite clothing brand?
Whatever's cheap. Costco.
Costco.
I'm an investor at heart, so it's what's the best value?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get involved in brand name stuff. I mean, if it's a brand name at Costco and it's a good price, I'll buy it. But no, nothing specific.
Okay, and number 5, what's your favorite song of all time?
Oh man, that's
Or just give me a song that you're really into.
So there's, how about I give you an artist that I really like? So Chris Stapleton is like the last few years has been, he's been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed his music with my wife as well. So I'd have to say him. But I listen to so many types of music, so that's a tough one. But I'm gonna say Chris Stapleton. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, and just to finish things off, Mike, how do people reach you, and what services do you provide?
All right, so I have a fresh website that you can go to at investedwithmike.com. And if you want to reach out to me, there's a section there you can drop an email, or the easiest and quickest would be Mike Ferreira 82 on Instagram, and you can just shoot me a message. Any questions, concerns. I'd love to help people out. So anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much for driving all the way out here, and it was great connecting with you and meeting, and I look forward to connecting again.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Well Off Podcast. If you enjoy the show, then I'd really appreciate if you left us a review on iTunes and let us know your thoughts. In order for us to get a larger audience, it's really important to have reviews, so your support is extremely appreciated. And also, don't forget to share the podcast with your friends and family. Until next time, I'm George Masri. Have a great day.